Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about an idea of overcoming the limiting beliefs that we might have. I'm going to be sharing a question that I had from somebody that messaged me on Instagram. And if you guys have questions or suggestions for videos, feel free to send me a message on Instagram, or you can, of course, post them in the comments below. But this is what Hannah asked. She said, something I'm not sure you've touched on is fear of being better. I know it sounds silly, but inside me, there is a resistance towards ridding myself of certain ideas because I think maybe I am afraid of the happiness that I know will ensue. Does that make sense? Like, to live to your full potential can sometimes be a frightening prospect. Maybe you could talk about this experience if you've had it and how you can, ways to overcome this. So this for me is really around an idea of overcoming limiting beliefs and understanding how we can really just be ourselves 100%. Now, for me, this was something that's actually really relevant because just like 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, I did a video that I was sitting on this idea of a video for like 4 or 5 months. I was almost afraid to put it out because I was afraid, and I had this belief, like this fear of putting it out, because I was afraid of maybe what you guys would think, it was an esoteric type concept. It's the video I did on manifesting using parallel realities. That's something I'm passionate about talking about because it's kind of an idea that's not really talked about too often, but I think has a lot of like empowerment potential. So I knew I wanted to talk about it for like 5 or 6 months, but I just kept putting it on the back burner because I was like, I'm not ready. I don't know about it. Like, I was so unsure of it, and I wasn't actually expressing myself 100%, and I almost felt like there was a filter around me. As small as that sound, I know it's just one video topic, but eventually I just decided that I was going to make the choice to express myself, express that idea that I'm passionate about with no attachment to what people thought. Because that's what was really holding me back, was caring so much and wondering what people would think about that idea, especially because it's kind of a more esoteric type idea. So what I really just decided I was going to do was to kind of like have the courage in a way to take the action, make the video, put it out, and not be attached to what people thought. Now, the funny part of it is people actually, it actually got a really good response from you guys, and it's a video that it's that a lot of people are saying it's actually helped them. So there's benefit in it for taking action to be yourself, to express yourself with no attachment to what other people thought or think. Now, I know that seems a little bit off topic from this idea, but the idea behind fear and really the idea behind having sometimes limiting beliefs about who we are and being able to like be happy and the success that could come, a lot of times comes from like a subconscious belief in caring what people think. You see, if we end up changing ourselves and we end up getting ourselves to a success mentality, a lot changes around us, because as we begin to change from the inside out, other people will notice those differences about us. And a lot of times it's more desirable to stay the same because then there's less like criticism from other people. As we change, so will sometimes the people around us change. And with that, it's like there's a lot of a subconscious fear with changing, with becoming the best version of ourselves, with taking action, doing what we're loving to do because of what other people think. Because as we begin to change, they will see it in us, and then sometimes it becomes something to where we just don't want to get into it at all. Like, we don't even want to start that process. Now, this is about recognizing and understanding that we can be ourselves 100%, and that the way we let go of what other people think is by deciding that we're going to be ourselves and really have this type of idea. You, the you that you are, is unique. There is nobody exactly like you. If you are doing things to please other people, that's not even the real you. And knowing that, it's like if you continue to do that and you continue to let that version of you continue to go, you're actually robbing people from being able to know who the you is, who the real you is. So this comes from understanding that you have a gift, that there is something about you that if you express yourself 100% in who you are, that is going to be value to other people. Now, the funny thing is I was afraid to put out that video for such a long time because of that like fear that I had. not realizing that talking about esoteric stuff or stuff that's different actually sets me apart from everybody else that's on YouTube, because I'm talking about things that aren't necessarily always talked about, that you see subtitles on. So if anything, being different is beneficial because it makes you authentic and it makes you unique and it makes you stand out. That's something that you can start to value more. You see, whatever we value is going to be what we try to stay consistent to. It's almost like it's what's tagged onto our self-identity. So if your value is making sure other people are happy, or a lot of times that's a subconscious value. Maybe we're not trying so hard thinking about it, but a lot of times some people have it ingrained into them to be sort of a people pleaser, to always trying to make people happy, trying not to go against the grain. And that a lot of times can hold us back from actually evolving out of the comfort zone that we have. Now understand that as well with this, it can involve asking the question, what would I have to believe is true that is stopping me from taking the action, or that is stopping me from feeling that success? A lot of times we'll find that it comes from being attached to a certain part of our identity. And sometimes we become attached to the comfort that we feel with who we are right now. And having to break a part of that, like a part of becoming that success that we're afraid to become, has to do with understanding that we need to let go of that part of our self-image, let go of the comfort, embrace the uncertainty. As you begin to embrace the uncertainty and you begin to do that over and over again, you find that you begin to develop a momentum, and then that's when you actually make the change and you transform yourself from the inside going out. So the keys to this, I really just wanted to share my experience with this and then tell you guys that the practical way of going about this is realizing that you are cheating people out from knowing the gift that you are. If you are making choices based upon what other people want you to do, or if you are doing things just as a people pleaser, that is actually capping you out and putting a filter around you. But if you learn how to just take the courage and just to start to do things because you want to do it. One thing I do with this is I like to do what is called self-amusement. And self-amusement is where sometimes I'll go around to loosen myself up, especially because I have a sales job, and I'll just do things that I find amusing, that I think are funny. And as I begin to do that, it loosens me up to where I don't really care what people think. You know, I might say random things, I might make random comments, I might push myself to say things I normally wouldn't say. Of course, like appropriate things, but things that are a little bit more edgy. And I find that doing that gets me out of the autopilot mind, and it allows me to then detach from what people think. Because as you begin to change your state and you begin to feel good about who you are, people's opinions become less and less important. So really, just understand that you can be yourself 100% in every moment by making choices based upon what you want to do, by living in self-amusement, by understanding and asking the question, what would I have to believe is true to feel the way that I do? And as you begin to find that belief, you can see that it's not who you really are. That if you have a belief that you need to be a certain way for people to like you, or you need to people please, you can look at that and realize that the real part of this is that you are cheating people out from knowing the real you. And as you change that value system in your head, you begin to then act in accordance with being yourself 100%. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, share it if you found it of value, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love, namaste. All right, bye.